The observation deck of the starship hummed with a low frequency that most species found soothing, but Xylothi scientist named Lyra found it merely functional. She stood before the massive viewing screen, her violet skin shimmering under the artificial lighting as she watched the blue and green planet rotate slowly below her homeworld. Was 3 systems away, and she had been studying humans for 6 standard months. Now humans were strange creatures, Lyra thought, as she tapped notes into her datapad. They were violent, yet compassionate, primitive, yet ingenious, and their methods of reproduction were absolutely baffling too. The Xylothi reproduced through a process called essence merging, where 2 individuals would blend their genetic material. In a controlled laboratory environment, emotions were not involved. It was clinical, efficient, and practical. But humans did something called mating, and from what Lyra had observed in their media transmissions and cultural databases, it was messy, emotional, and apparently very important to them. She had watched countless human films, read their literature, and studied their biological texts. Yet she still could not fully comprehend why they made such a fuss about either. Colleague Vryn entered the observation deck, his scales clicking against the metal floor. He was a reptilian species from the Outer Rim, and had even less interest in human behavior than most of the crew. "Are still studying the human reproduction rituals?" Vryn asked. With what sounded like amusement, Lyra nodded, her large eyes never leaving the datapad. "Yes. I have been reviewing more material. The humans call it dating romance lovemaking, it seems." Unnecessarily complicated. Vryn made a hissing sound that was his version of laughter. "Most species find it complicated. The Xylothi, especially, you have no concept of physical intimacy for pleasure. That is what confuses me." Lyra admitted. Why would they engage in such activities when it serves no immediate survival purpose? Their reproduction could be handled through artificial means, yet they choose this inefficient method. "Perhaps you should ask one," Vryn suggested. Lyra considered this. The ship carried a human liaison officer named Kate Murphy, who was assigned to help the alien crew understand Earth customs and facilitate communication. Lyra had spoken with her several times about various human behaviors, but had been too embarrassed to ask about reproduction directly. The next day, Lyra found herself standing outside Kate Murphy's quarters aboard the ship. She pressed the door chime and waited, nervously adjusting her research tablet. "Come in," Kate's voice called out cheerfully. The door slid open, and Lyra stepped inside. Kate's quarters were decorated with items from Earth plants in pots, photographs of smiling humans, and something called a coffee maker that produced a beverage. Humans seemed addicted to. Kate herself was sitting at her desk wearing casual clothes and smiled warmly when she saw Lyra. "Hey." "Lyra, what brings you by?" Kate asked, gesturing to a chair. Lyra sat down carefully, her tall, slender frame making the human furniture seem small. "I have questions about human behavior, specifically regarding reproduction and the rituals surrounding." Kate's eyebrows rose. "Oh, that's, quite a topic. What specifically do you want to know?" Leah pulled up her notes. "I have been studying human media, and I do not understand why humans make reproduction so complicated. You have courtship rituals, dating, physical intimacy that is not always for reproduction, and something called falling in love. Why is this necessary?" Kate laughed softly. "Well, it's not really about necessity. It's about connection. Humans are social creatures, and we form emotional bonds. Reproduction isn't just about creating offspring for us. It's about sharing intimacy with someone we care about. But your species could reproduce through artificial means," Lyra pointed out. "It would be more efficient, sure. We could." Kate agreed, "but that would remove the emotional and physical connection that makes it meaningful for us when 2 humans decide to have a child together, or even just to be intimate. It is an expression of trust, affection, and desire." Lyra repeated the word as if testing its meaning. "What is desire?" 8 thought for a moment how to explain. "This desire is a strong feeling of wanting something or someone in a romantic or physical sense. When humans are attracted to each other, they feel desire to be close to. Touch to connect." The Lyra's skin shifted to a deeper purple shade, a sign of confusion among her people. "But you reproduce through internal Biological processes that seem painful and complicated. I have read about pregnancy and childbirth. Why would anyone? Desire that Kate laughed again. You are not wrong that those parts are not easy, but the act of reproduction itself. The physical intimacy is pleasurable for humans. Our bodies are designed to make it feel good, which encourages us to do it evolution. Made it that way pleasurable, Lyra wrote this down. So humans engage in mating rituals because it feels good, not just to reproduce exactly. Kate said, though we do not always call it mating, we say making love or having sex. And yes, people do it because it feels good emotionally and physically. It is a way to bond with a partner. Lyra was silent for a long moment, processing this information. Then she asked something that had been bothering her for weeks. Can anyone try it, or is it only for certain? Kate blinked. What do you mean? Lyra hesitated. Can someone who is not human experience this with a human? Is that possible? Kate's expression became more serious. Well, physically it would depend on biological compatibility. But beyond that, there are emotional considerations, trust, consent, attraction. Those things matter more than just physical ability. Consent, Lyra repeated. Yes. Kate explained both people have to agree to it freely without pressure. It is about mutual respect and caring for each other. You cannot just decide to try it with someone. You have to make sure they want to try it with you. Lyra absorbed this, her scientific mind, categorizing the information. But beneath the analytical surface, something else stirred curiosity. Perhaps even that strange thing Kate called desire. Over the following weeks, Lyra found herself thinking about the conversation more than she expected. She began paying closer attention to the human crew members aboard the ship, watching how they interacted with each other. She noticed the small touches on shoulders, the way they stood close when talking, the smiles they shared. One human in particular caught her attention. Her name was Amy Chen, and she worked in the ship's botanical lab maintaining the food crops and oxygen-producing plants. Lyra had always admired Amy's dedication to her work, but now she found herself noticing other things. The way Amy's dark hair fell across her face when she leaned over her plants, the sound of her laugh, the gentle way she handled even the smallest seedlings. Lyra began volunteering to help in the botanical lab, claiming she wanted to learn more about human agriculture. Amy seemed delighted to have the help, and the two began spending more time together. No, Amy said one day as they were pruning tomato plants, I never expected to become friends with a xylothi when I signed up for this. Mission friends. Lyra tested the word. We are friends, of course. Amy smiled at her. Why do you sound surprised? I did not think humans would want to be friends with someone so different, Lyra admitted. Amy shrugged. We are all different in our own ways. Besides, you are easy to talk to, and you actually care about the plants. Most people just see them as food sources. Lyra, I felt something warm in her chest, a feeling she could not quite name. I enjoy spending time here with you. Me too, Amy said, and there was something in her eyes that made Lyra's skin shimmer with a soft lavender glow. That evening, Lyra returned to her quarters and sat in the dark thinking. She pulled up her notes on human reproduction and courtship and read through them again. Everything Kate had told her about desire or attraction and intimacy, it all seemed abstract before, but now she thought she might be feeling something similar. The realization terrified her. Lyra was a scientist. She dealt in facts, data, observable phenomena. Emotions were messy, unpredictable, and very, very human, or so she had thought. Apparently even xylothi could experience them under the right circumstances. She needed guidance. Lyra contacted Kate again, requesting another meeting. Kate invited her to the ship's observation lounge, a quiet place where off-duty crew members often went to relax. They sat together looking out at the stars. So what is on your mind? Kate asked. Lyra struggled to find the words. I think I am experiencing something I do not understand. I have been spending time with Amy from the botanical lab, and when I am with her, I feel different. How? Kate asked, gently warm. Lyra said, confused, excited, nervous. I think about her. When we are not together, I want to be near her. These feelings are not logical. They do not serve any purpose. Kate smiled knowingly. Lyra, I think you might have a crush on Amy. A crush? Lyra repeated. It means you are attracted to her romantically, maybe even physically, Kate explained. These feelings are normal. They are how humans experience the beginning of romantic interest. But I am not human, Lyra protested. No, but you are a person with feelings, Kate said, and feelings do not care about species. Love and attraction are universal in their own ways. Love. Lyra's skin turned a deep blue color, indicating shock. You think this is love, 8? Could be the beginning of it? Kate said, but the question is, what do you want to do about IAT? Do not know, Lyra admitted. I have never felt this way before. I do not know what is. Appropriate well. First, Kate said, you should probably tell Amy how you feel. Communication is important. In any relationship, Lyra felt panic rise in her chest, but what if she does not feel the same way? What if this ruins our friendship? That is always a risk, Kate, acknowledge.